What's going on, guys? Justin with ExtremeTerrain.com, and well, the cat is out of the bag. Some of you guys might have seen we've been teasing this big giveaway recently. Well, here it is, a brand new 2023 Badlands Ford Bronco. I know it looks a little weird now, but don't worry, we'll explain all of that here in a little bit. How do you enter to win this thing? Well, starting today, for every dollar you spend at ExtremeTerrain.com, you get one entry for the Bronco behind me. So the drawing is gonna end September 30th. You got all summer long to get those entries in. But let me give you a little inspiration here behind this particular build, because there's a little bit of a story here, guys. We were actually big fans of Ford's Everglades trim Bronco, you know, a unique package. It had a factory snorkel, winch, unique appearance package and all that good stuff. You know, being an OG Florida boy, I really like that, but I wanted to build something with a little bit more teeth. So with that being said, let me introduce you to the Gator. We're gonna show you how we built this badass, go anywhere, anytime rig, do some camping in, have some fun with, no matter what the situation. Now, of course, it couldn't be a Gator without the color, right? We actually started off with an eruption green Bronco, and as you can see, that color is a little bit different now. That's because we just got done installing the PPF Stealth Wrap Job. If you guys don't know, that's a paint protection film, stealth, so it's kind of a satin sheen to that eruption green. Changed up the color a little bit, and actually I think it did a great job kind of relaying that whole Gator theme. Big fan of this. It's obviously gonna help protect our paint, as the name implies. Self-healing, so if you get some pinstripes off-road with it, give it a little bit of heat and it actually kind of makes those scratches go away. So that might have been the first official part, but we got some hardware back on this table that you guys wanna check out. Luke, come on back with me, man. Let's show the people what's going on. Joseph is in the building again. Joe's our lead tech here. He's gonna be turning most of the wrenches on this build. I might help out, hold the flashlight a little bit, we'll see. But guys, this is actually the Icon Stage 6 kit. We're gonna show you more on that here in a little bit once we start getting it in place. But we got a lot of parts like this going on in the Bronco, guys, so you are gonna wanna stay tuned. Stage 1, we're really setting the foundation for this thing, suspension, wheels, and tires, and we're gonna go from there. We got a lot of build videos coming your way. You guys know the deal. You're gonna have to subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date with all of these build videos as they are released. But we gotta get this thing onto the lift and start transforming it, so let's get it done. Guys, we are coming out of the gate strong here with our first piece of hardware for the Gator build. Now, Joe just finished up installing this beautiful Icon Stage 6 lift kit. Thanks again to the guys at Icon for hooking us up with this thing. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on here. Front coilovers are in place. That's gonna give us about 3 to 4 inches of lift up front here, guys. Really nice components though. As you can see, we got the reservoirs up here, the CDC valve, that's compression damping control. That's basically allows the owner to control how much damping force they want on the compression stroke. So basically leave it soft for comfort on the road, slow trails, rock crawling, things like that, but you can really firm that up when you're off-road, mobbing through the desert or whatever, and you want a little bit more control, just go ahead and firm that up. And it's basically all right here, a couple turns of a knob and you're good to go. Another nice component of the Stage 6 kit is the Delta joint upper control arm. It's a tubular option. It's gonna give us full articulation, no impact here on the coilover, plenty of clearance, and better yet, it's going to allow for proper caster and camber adjustment, really help us dial everything in there. But let's cruise on down. Let's check out the rear setup here, Luke. I got one of the components in my hand. Obviously, this is our rear coilover setup. We're also getting the CDC valves or reservoirs in the back. We've got a triple rate spring. Icon says it's gonna give us great comfort on the road, also solid performance off-road as well. And then this monster, this is our rear lower link, basically rear lower control arms for lack of a better word. They're actually gonna provide us with a little bit more rear end articulation, and this adjustable rod end bearing here, beefy as hell. That's going to allow for pinion angle adjustment. Very important stuff when you're lifting it as high as we are here, guys. That will allow us to get our pinion angle back into spec, for lack of a better word. We're talking about lifting it. How much are we talking here, guys? 3 to 4 inches up front, 2 to 3 inches in the rear. That's going to allow for 11.5 inches of total travel up front, 14 inches in the rear. These are big numbers using a 35-inch tire. We might be cutting into those numbers ever so slightly due to our tire choice. We'll talk more about that in a second. But Joe's actually getting to work on the rears now. We actually have to drop the fuel tank a little bit to access one of the bolts for one of the lower control arms. And then we're actually going to button everything up here after the install. Borne Off-Road hooked us up with the rear shock mount skid plates. It's basically the lowest point on the Bronco. It is notorious for getting banged up off-road on rocks, so thanks to Borne Off-Road for making sure we don't damage our beautiful new Icon suspension. So I'm gonna let Joe keep going in the rear here, help him out with that fuel tank, and then we'll keep on moving. All right, guys, well, Joe just wrapped up suspension. We got the Borne lower shock skid plates in place as well. Brakes were off to tackle the front suspension. They're back on and they look a little bit different. Big thanks to my buddy Todd over at PowerStop. You're looking at the Z36 truck and tow, front and rear setup here for our Bronco. Now, we don't want to leave any stone unturned with this particular build. The reality is we're throwing some big meats on this thing, which you guys will see here in a little bit. They're heavy, right? Each wheel and tires, I'd say about 135 pounds. That's going to be a lot on those factory brakes to bring down from a stop, especially if we're dive bombing through mud. These things get a little bit dirty. Point being, we want good brakes. We now have them. So the Z36 kit is unique because it has a carbon fiber infused ceramic brake pad. Now their standard pad, still pretty solid, don't get me wrong, it's just predominantly ceramic. The carbon fiber gives these things a little bit more bite, a little better with heat, and along with the stainless steel shims, and of course the beautiful cross-drilled and slotted rotors. These should look pretty cool behind our wheels, as you'll see here in a little bit. But again, if we're going through the mud, we're going through the swamp like the Gator should be, the nice cross-drilled and slotted surface should help keep that surface clean and those brakes a little bit more functional. So Todd, thanks again, guys. Brakes looking good. Probably not gonna see them too much, but it's nice to know they're there when you need it. All right, guys, Joe's cruising right along here with this build. Suspension's done, obviously brakes we just showed you. More than halfway through stage one, but let's talk about our next part here, and that is flares. These are the Air Design wide flares, and they get that name for a reason. As you can see, they're pretty girthy looking here. We have a stock flare for comparison, our non-Sasquatch flare. They're gonna give us about 2 inches of additional coverage, making way for a lot more offset and a lot more tire, which means these are essentially useless. We don't need those anymore. Big thanks again to the guys at Air Designs for hooking us up. I saw these first at the SEMA show last year, fell in love with them for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost, that added coverage, which you already talked about, but more importantly, from the front of the truck, it gives the Bronco so much more of an aggressive look, almost Bronco Raptor-ish without being too ridiculous. Also, really big fan of the detail on the rear flares, just breaks up the look a little bit. And on top of that, they're made in the USA, killer construction, polyurethane, 3-year warranty. They do still incorporate the quick release clips from the factory, but there are 3 additional 10mm bolts that give these things some extra support because they are so big. So point being, if you still want to remove them on the trail, not bang them up, you could. Just need to make sure you have your 10mm with you, which you should have with you at all times, let's be honest. Guys, but I'm really stoked on these because again, they are gonna give us some coverage for our wheels and tires coming up next, help keep this wrap nice and clean, and as an added bonus, they make a nice little armrest here. So really getting pumped though. Our next part is a biggie here for this particular stage. We got wheels, we got tires, the highlight of this particular video. So let's get those puppies on next. I think we're gonna have to go up higher with the lift. All right, guys, moment of truth. The wheels and tires are finally on the Gator here, and man, I think we absolutely nailed it. Let's break down this setup, starting with those wheels. Black Rhino, you know them. If you've watched our channel before, we love them over here. They really hooked us up. And this wheel in particular, this is the Aliso 17 by 8.5, negative 10mm offset in gloss bronze. But there's one thing in particular that really drew me to this wheel. It's called the Gator, right? The Bronco. Well, if you look closely at the wheel, mainly this part right here, it kind of reminded me of like a webbed foot on a Gator. So to me, it was a perfect choice for this particular build. And the gloss bronze just really sets off the satin PPF wrap perfectly. But let's talk about these meats here because Mickey Thompson really hooked us up big time, and I mean that literally. 37 1250 R17s, massive Baja Boss MTs. This is their new mud terrain, extreme mud terrain, guys. We have a lot going on. The side biters here are gonna really help this thing dig in, but you got a 3-ply power ply sidewall. So there's a new ply in here. Not only is it better to help resist any punctures or off-road mishaps, but it's also gonna add some stability to the tire as well. So yes, I know we're not gonna be auto-crossing with the Bronco, but you never know. If you have to make an evasive maneuver on the highway, it's good to know you have some extra kind of stability built into the tire. Outside of that though, guys, tried and true recipe here from Mickey Thompson. Big, huge shoulder lugs, stone ejectors, all that good stuff on the outside. Some slightly tighter blocks here on the inside. Yes, we know it's gonna be loud, but you know what? Who gives a damn? They look awesome and they should provide plenty of traction for us off-road. Now you see why we needed these Air Design wide flares, right? -10 on the offset from the Black Rhino wheels, pushes those wheels out and they really fill up these flares nicely. It's not poking out, it's not sunken in. I think we absolutely nailed it. Of course, we cannot forget about the RedRock HD1 tire carrier in the back, making way for that big old 37 1250, adding some armor back there, plus some things that we're gonna add later on in the build. Stay tuned, you do not wanna miss it. But guys, the Icon suspension, the wheel and tire combo, this thing's really starting to take shape. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap us up here for stage one. I guess you could say the foundation is set, right? We got that awesome Icon suspension in place, making way for that really, really sharp combo of the Black Rhino wheel, Mickey Thompson combination, and helping us stop this monster. Of course, we got those PowerStops in place, and we can't forget about that really, really slick looking PPF wrap. So guys, we're off in the right direction. This thing is finally starting to look the part, look menacing, worthy of that Gator name. Guys, don't forget, this thing can be yours. It could be in your driveway. For every dollar you spend at ExtremeTerrain.com, you get an entry for the Gator. You got all summer to get those entries in. We're actually gonna end the drawing September 30th. We're gonna draw the winner on Halloween, October 31st. So again, get those entries in and good luck. Guys, obviously we're just getting started with this thing. We have a lot more cool content to come, including our next stage where you'll see some of that Everglades inspiration come through big time. But in the meantime, I'm Justin. Remember, for all things Bronco, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.